the pain was really bad and I nearly fainted. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This video, I filmed it already around 3 to 4 times because firstly there was an issue with the lighting, then it was just the angle that was not working. Hopefully this time it's gonna be fine. Anyways, today's video is not gonna be related to fashion or beauty or anything like this. It's gonna be completely different because I decided to, mix a little bit my content, and today's video is gonna be about the 4 tattoos that I have. This is actually a video that was requested by a really good friend of mine who figured that it would be really interesting to know the process and the meaning behind my tattoos. So hopefully you are also very interested. Comment below if you have any tattoos or if you want to get any in particular. And let's get going into the video. So to give you a little bit of a background behind how it actually works here in Switzerland when you want to get a tattoo, you need to be 18 years old. So obviously my very first tattoo, I waited to be 18 before getting it. And my parents were okay with it. I had given the right arguments to get one, so it was not an issue at all, and I was able to get one around 18 years old and a half or something like this. I decided to go to this tattoo place in my hometown here in Switzerland. In my head, I already knew what I wanted. I wanted to get a feather, not any feather. I wanted to get an owl feather because I loved how full they were, how beautiful they look. And to me, a feather represented freedom, power, magic, a lot of different things. And I just felt like I really wanted to have a little feather as my very first tattoo. I always wanted to have a tattoo because I felt like I love having something that has a meaning to me and have it on my skin forever. So I really wanted to get a tattoo for sure. So what I did is that I went to the tattoo place here in my hometown and I just explained what I wanted. They're like, yeah, no problem. It's going to be around 200 francs, which is around $200. And they gave me an appointment for a month later. So I can tell you that during a month you are really it's stressed and nervous, but thankfully I never changed my mind. I knew what I wanted. I knew where I wanted it. So I never regretted it. And a month later I went to my appointment. I remember we went with my mom and we were looking through the different designs, but the tattoo artist that was going to tattoo me, he already had designed a little owl feather and it was perfect. It was beautifully made. So I went for that one. So the next step was obviously me showing him where I wanted it, and I had decided to get it right here. Hopefully you can see it. It's right here. It's located just under the veins of your wrists. So I showed him the area and I confirmed the little designs. So what he did is that he obviously cleaned the area, he shaved the area as well, and then he applied a little stencil so you have an idea of what the design is going to look like. And it actually helps the tattoo artist to follow the lines to really never mess up or anything like this. So I obviously loved it. I felt like it was the perfect little feather to have there, and I just approved everything, confirmed everything, and it was time to get the tattoo done. So I remember I was laying down and he just started to show me the needle that he was going to use, and he did say that he preferred going for a gray ink instead of a black ink, and he wanted to do this because I have very light skin and he figured that it would be nicer to do gray than obviously black. So he showed me everything, and I think that's very important that you make sure the tattoo artist always shows you the needle before using it to show that it's clean, new, and everything like this. And I remember that it lasted around 25 to 30 minutes to tattoo that feather. I remember that it didn't really hurt, which is quite interesting because I expected it to hurt a lot, and it didn't hurt that much. I don't remember the exact level of pain that I had, but to be honest, out of 10, it was probably a 6 or maybe a 7 maximum. The only thing that was painful is I got thoughts about the needle in my skin, putting ink in my skin, and I nearly fainted. Yeah, I know, super weird. But in the end, I was okay, and after 25 minutes or so, it was done so fast, so well done, and I was extremely happy. He also did a special price. He said that it was worth 150 francs, not more than that. So it was perfect. And usually I would say that these type of tattoos should be around that price. I would never pay less than 100 for a tattoo, except if it's really tiny, because otherwise it feels like it's not made professionally. I'd rather put the price towards a tattoo. That's how I went really for my first one. And after that, I obviously went for 3 others. So it means that I actually really enjoyed getting tattooed. The second tattoo that I got is the little triangle that I have right here on my arm. I'm obviously going to show you some pictures and clips in this video, but I got a triangle on my inner arm, and this was about a year and a half after getting my very first tattoo. And I would say that out of the 4 tattoos I have, this one is the one I like the least, and I wouldn't say I regret it because I don't regret any of my tattoos, thankfully, but I do not really like it. I would have changed the way I did it. I would have changed the placement of the tattoo and the size of it especially. But anyways, to explain to you a little bit why I got a triangle on my arm, arm. Basically, I am a Leo in like horoscope, astrological signs, and I'm really a big fan of that stuff. And I wanted to get something to remind me that I am a Leo. I didn't really want to get the actual astrological sign because I felt like maybe I'm not going to be into horoscopes anymore in a few years, and I don't want to have something tattooed on my skin forever that represents something I don't care anymore. What I decided to do is to go for the triangle, which actually represents the fire element. And if you know, a Leo is actually from the fire element, so to me it just appealed to me a lot. And I also really liked it because it was like a geometrical figure. It looked very clean, very simple, and I don't know, I just felt like it was perfect. So I decided to go for a triangle, and I remember I had decided this in August, and in September I had already my appointment. So as you can see, I didn't really have a long time to think about it, but anyways, I went for it, and I went to the same tattoo place as for my first tattoo in my hometown here in Switzerland. This time it was a girl who tattooed me, and the process was similar to the first one. I just had to show her the type of triangle I wanted, and I obviously wanted a bit of shading to like do the sign of the triangle, and so not much, just a little bit, because I didn't want the line to be too thick either. I told her I wanted to have it in the inner arm, and I gave her also a printed version of that triangle to see the size of it. Then she just went for it. So basically, first of all, I should have chosen a smaller triangle. I think it's a bit too big. I would have preferred something nicer, smaller. And the inner arm is okay, but I would have rather gone for the wrist as well, like the first tattoo I have. But it's fine, it's still very nice, and I love it a lot. Nevertheless, it's actually the tattoo that people like the most on me, which is very interesting and funny. For the pain and for the duration, I think it lasted around 30 to 35 minutes because the shading took a lot of time and it was really hurting a lot. So she took a few little breaks. I think it's the most painful thing I ever got, and that's not even a lot of shading, so I don't know how people do it, the ones that have all like these tattoos with like shading. So I wouldn't ever do that again, but nevertheless, I really like it now, and as I said, it's really popular among my friends and family, so good for me. After that, about a year later, I was studying in Milan, and I really wanted to get another tattoo, and I wanted to get it in Milan because I felt like it would be nice to have a bit of tattoo experience in Milan. So I went through internet and found this really good tattoo place not far from my place, and if you know a little bit Milan, it's in Corso Buenos Aires, and it's a really nice tattoo place, and I decided to get La Vie En Rose tattooed on my arm right here. La Vie En Rose, it's a song from Edith Piaf that I really like. I find it really beautiful, very romantic, and it meant a lot to me. And I also just like the saying because it literally translates to English by saying life in pink, and I love pink, and I just find it very positive. So I really wanted to get that tattoo. I knew I wanted to get it here, it was for sure. I didn't want to get it anywhere else. I got it also in the font that is a typewriter font because I love history and I love that font, and I felt like it would be so great to write it in that font because it would relate to my love for history. This one is probably my favorite tattoo. I love it so much. It's in black as well as actually the triangle. I forgot to tell you, it was both in black. For now, it looks really good still, and I love how it looks when you're wearing like something like this. You can see a little part of it, and it's really my favorite. It lasted like 10 minutes, no pain at all. It's the least painful thing ever. I don't know why. I don't know if it was the place in Milan because they were really professional, and also the appointment, I got it so fast, like a few days after I got the appointment. Like I didn't have to wait a month, and it was really well done professionally and didn't hurt. So I can say it's just a really positive process and memory, and I'm very happy with that one. My last little tattoo that I have is actually located on my waist. I'm just gonna insert a picture because I don't want to show anything here, but it's on my waist. It's not where my ribs are, it's actually below that. It's really literally on my waist, and I got it also in Milan, and once again the appointment was really fast and they were really professional again, and I wanted to get princesse tattooed, which means princess in English, as simple as that. Basically why I wanted to get that is that first of all, I love everything related to princesses, so obviously I had to get something like this. But my grandmother from my father's side, she used to call me princesse in French, and I found once few letters that she sent me a long time ago where she would say chère princesse or dear princess, and I just cut a little piece of that, like the princess word, and I put it like on my computer, made it bigger, printed it, and showed it to the tattoo place and asked them to put that on my waist. So they were like, no problem at all. So obviously they always do that. They have the stencil for the 4 tattoos. I always had the stencil, so they put it, they show it to you, you check, you look and all that, and if you like it, validate it, and they start actually tattooing you. It went went super easy. It didn't hurt at all. I think it was because on the waist you obviously have more fat than on the rib, so it didn't really hurt much at all. Actually, it lasted maybe 15-20 minutes. It's also one of my favorites because it's literally my grandmother's writing on my waist, like on my skin, so it means a lot, and I guess it's the most like emotional tattoo that I have. So yeah, and it was that easy. It really didn't take much time. So these are pretty much my tattoos, and about them, they were all about the same price, between $100 to $150 euros. If you have any questions about tattoo, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed a bit of this different type of video. I like to mix up a little bit the content, and I will see you next week in my next video. Bye bye.